Hey guys, Outdoor Manly again, bringing you my Magpul Zhukov-S stock for the AK platform. I was really excited when I saw this come out at SHOT Show 2015, and I was actually really curious if this would fit on my AK or not. My AK is a Wasser 10, and spoiler alert, it does fit. It fits most modern AKMs, but there are some exceptions. You might want to check the Magpul website. I don't think like Mac 90s or the Egyptian, the Mahdi ones, or there's quite a few. I think also the Chinese Type 51s or the VZ 51s don't work or what. I don't know what all the names are. There's like 1,000 different models. Anyways, just want to show you guys exactly what this looks like, what it can do, and how it mounts, because it's pretty phenomenal the way the system is. So as you can see, I have just a typical Wasser 10. Just the old school way of mounting it, just your standard open kind of back trunnion. It just has the big tongue on the back that you stick the bolts through. And so the Zhukov stock is pretty interesting. It has a few mounting options. Up in the front, it has this QD mount that you can pop in here, and you need to have this in for it to actually be secured to the weapon. So it has a QD mount up front, just your standard QD mount. That works with the Magpul MS3 sling. This is just their MS3, and it just plugs right in there, no problem. The back two QD mounts, these are Type 1 and Type 2 QD mounts right here, right here. Those you will need either a different mounting, like a different QD setup, or I believe there's inserts that Magpul is going to sell. I'm not quite sure. They remove some material right here on both sides they have adjustable cheek risers for increased cheek weld if you're a shooter that needs that. So you can buy those from the Magpul site, and it also includes adjustable length of pull, which is this little lever down here that I've been fiddling with. Now this is actually very, very stiff. It's a lot easier to operate on the firearm, but what you do is you would pull this down with your finger, and as you see, it moves that tongue at the bottom, and there's 5 different slots for this adjustable length of pull. And so there's kind of the different holes or rungs of the ladder, if you will, that the tongue latches onto. And so you just pull it down, pick whatever size you want, and I'm kind of smaller statured, so I'll just take the standard like Warsaw packed length of pull. It also has the 1.25" web sling right here. Rubber butt pad, same as most Magpul stocks, pretty much actually exactly the same. And all these holes right here in the front, and this just interesting hinge mechanism is meant to work specifically for the AK. So it's going to talk about the hinge. So it locks up very firmly, and I was really skeptical about it at first since they offered a fixed stock version. I was going to go for that due to stability, but after having messed with one of these, I was surprised about how stiff they actually mount to the weapon. So it has these little indentations, I guess, or just these little pieces of metal that are held by some intense spring tension on the top and the bottom. And there are these channels in the polymer that are cut out. Of course, this is Magpul polymer, and it is thick, and it's just the stuff their PMags are made of, and so it's well renowned, well trusted. Anyhow, when you close it on the side, as you can see, it kind of forces those indents down and just slide in there and pop in. And they are under quite a bit of spring tension, so it's pretty hard to get it to pop out. And then as far as locking it open, there is one giant, huge piece of metal right here, and it is operated by this push button. That's accessible just on the left side of the stock, and that whole lug will engage right underneath this channel right here, and part of it will be against the QD mount. So it's very stable, surprisingly stable for what it is. But a lot of the magic in that happens on how it mounts to the weapon. So let's check that out. So these are the parts you get with the Zhukov-S folding stock. You get it looks like 3 screws. This one, it's like a washer, but it just has some threads built into it to kind of lock onto the stock. And then there's this piece of polymer right here. Now this piece is pretty much where the magic happens. This is where this really tightens it and holds it to the actual frame of the weapon. So I'm going to show you what's going down. So on the front of the stock, it has a wedge cut out And wouldn't you know, this wedge is the exact same angle cut out. And the hole in the front of this is supposed to correlate with the hole on this. So this is offset. So the hole's in the middle of this, whilst the hole is not in the middle of this. This tightens it. This actually creates a, it's almost like a screw that tightens the entire thing to the chassis of the AK. I'll show you guys what I mean. Okay, so essentially this wedge, what you do is you take the nut, you put it inside the wedge, and then this whole wedge goes inside the AK chassis, the big stabilizing base kind of down. So that's going to be like so. Now, instead of just throwing it in there and then trying to fish this around up in there and trying to get it in using the long bolt they give you with some, I think all the bolts and hardware come with Loctite on it. What you want to do is you can actually just grab the said bolt. You want to pass it through the hole in the front here. Okay, attach it to the wedge and just screw the nut on a little bit here. Alright, get it on there pretty good. Okay, and then back the wedge back off so the nut's kind of engaged into the recess of the wedge. We'll throw this whole assembly in here like that. Now, what you need to do is you just need to tighten her down. And it's just going to be an Allen head right there in the back of it. So, just get your little Allen head. Tighten her down. Shoot, don't drop it. Yeah. Alrighty. Alright, and so what that does is that kind of gives it a nice stable base to sort of just sit in the chassis. Now don't tighten it down all the way quite yet, because you still need to get the tongue situation all covered. So, as with any AK stock would, likewise, you need to throw in these two nuts in there. So they give you a few different options here. So the farthest back one, let's see if I can get this, has a recess cut in there just like that. That's where this washer with the little, the threads in it go. And it just goes, this is pretty intuitive stuff, guys. So you just put that on there like that. You would throw the one that sinks in, that's kind of countersunk in there. You'd throw that guy in there into the top of this hole, like so. Let's see if I can get it here. Okay, so that one's no big deal, and you'll need to play with that just for the sake of time and for the video. You just kind of see how that mounts on there. And then the third mounting option here is you take just the regular one, and this actually goes right into that QD mount. Alright, so throw this in there. They all use the same size Allen wrench, so thankfully you only need to buy one. I believe it's a quarter, but you might want to check. They have all the mounting information online. So anyways, tighten her down real good. Make sure everything's real tight. And then after everything's tight, you want to throw your wrench into the butt of the weapon here and make sure you tighten this one down. This one at the very end, and this one secures everything rock solid. Alrighty. So now, essentially what you got is you got something that's insanely solid, and it is very stiff as well. So let me assemble the weapon. Let me show you that it can operate with the stock on there. Alright, put your spring in. Then you put your dust cover on. Okay, so this is typically what it would look like. Just looks real nice on the AK. It really fits just the style of the weapon and just its intended purpose. And it's kind of nice too because side folder AKs are pretty spendy. So this kind of does, one of two things. Converts it for you for relatively cheap cost, and it gives you the best of both worlds. Because this thing is just as solid as the fixed version, I think. Says I. Anyways, so you'd hit the button right here to release it. And you got to push it down pretty firmly. And then, like I said, these locking lugs over here will engage in that recess. Now, the safety is going to be an issue to get into. You can't really reach up to it with your finger because there's the whole stock blocking it, if you can kind of see that. So what you'd have to do is if it was on safety and it was folded, if you wanted to keep it folded and disengage the safety, you'd have to reach in there with your finger, push it down, at least till you get to a point, and then you can charge the weapon. Now, charging is not something you're going to take lightly either, but it does go all the way back. It is not, the stock does not interfere with it at all, so you can fire the weapon, no problem. And the stock does not, like I said, interfere with the function of the firearm. And aside from that, very, very stiff. And the QD is in the perfect place, I think. That way I can mount it right there. I can mount it towards the front of the weapon as well, or I can just, with the Magpul MS3 sling, I can just mount it both to the same one, have a single point sling, or switch it. So it's great for a bug out gun. This actually folded fits in my bug out bag, which is a huge advantage. It folded, it's smaller than my AR-15, 16-inch barrel and everything. And AKs are typically a little bit longer too, so it really provides a lot more versatility for the platform, and for me, it was well worth the money. Typically right now, these are going to be hard to find. They're going to be in black, tan, plum. I think there's a couple other ones. The tan, like desert sand or, flat dark earth, whatever the tactical jargon is nowadays for the tan color. I'm probably going to be spray painting this soon, but well worth the $100 MSRP. So yeah, thanks for tuning in, guys. This is Outdoor Manly. This is the Magpul Zhukov-S folding stock. And you guys have an outdoor day. Outdoor Manly day. A day that's outdoor.